Alright, what's going on my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today, obviously new month, we've got a new tier list to go through, so that's what we're going to be doing today. We got a bunch of characters to go through, including Halloween Shanks, which was not available in the last tier list, because for the last tier list, by the way, the latest characters that were input were Law and Mihawk. And now in this tier list, we also have Shanks, we have the Sweet Commanders, Germa 66, Luffy and Sanji, and also Capone 6+. Now, I'm actually recording this video the day before the anniversary Sugar Fest, so I have no idea how my pulls are actually going to go. Hopefully they went well, and hopefully your guys' pulls went well as well. But anyways, let's get into it. So, for my tier list, I have my own personal criteria that I go off of to rank these characters. And they include like the power of the legend, so how much overall damage can they actually achieve, the speed of the legend, so how fast are they at actually clearing content, how reliable they are at clearing content, what their clear rate is as a captain, like is there content out there that they specifically cannot clear because of the structure of the character, and also the usability and versatility, so can they be put on teams even in certain situations where they're not even going to be fully boosted just because they're that good. And there's definitely characters in the game that are like that. So with all that out of the way, let's just jump into the tier list video. I do have 6 different tiers, including tier 0 to tier 5. So I want to try and make it so that tier 0 is legitimately the best in the game, because I know that I think in my last tier list I had quite a lot of characters in tier 0, and I want to make tier 0, you know, the best in the game, so like the top 3 or top 5, something like that. I don't want to flood it too much, which is why I added a couple more tiers, or just an extra tier. So let's see how it goes, okay? We're going to be starting from the top here. Now, a lot of these characters are not going to make it onto the tier list in general, just because either they're bad or they don't fit with my criteria, but just know that some of these characters have actually pretty useful support effects, or even with limit break expansion, they definitely can get quite good. But in general, if they're not on the list, they're not going to be like the best characters in the game, or not really going to see a lot of play. So let's keep going. Rayleigh is really good. I don't really know where I'm going to place everyone at the moment, but I guess putting Rayleigh right in the middle or around the middle would probably make sense. So yeah, I'm going to leave him in tier 3 for now, because Rayleigh's got such a good special, great support effect as well. Who else do we have here? We've got Lucy. Lucy's still pretty good. I don't use him that much. I honestly might put him in like the lowest tier here, because he is good, but his captain effect is very outdated. His special's still kind of good in a couple pieces of content, but his 6+ is just a better version of him. This Judge, I guess I'm going to put him here as well. Great special ability, but that's about it, really. He does have his limit break expansion, which makes his 6+ actually a lot better, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Sengoku's bad. Dofi, I guess I'm going to put Dofi on the list, because like Dofi is still usable, but he's not all that, I'll admit. It's just driven really terrible. And obviously he gets nerfed. You guys know this already. Luffy and Ace is pretty bad, honestly. I mean, like, you can actually, like, technically, yes, you can still use them, but realistically speaking, you're not going to be using Luffy Ace over someone like, you know, Roger or Sabo Koala or something like that. They're so outdated. Their special ability is also really bad. They need an update in some fashion. I'm going to put this Law on here just because he is somewhat usable, allowing your specials to bypass barriers. That's actually pretty good. Shanks is also still quite good, still sees quite a lot of play, you know, guaranteed full board of slots and a chain boost, which is kind of ridiculous. He's actually pretty good in Pirate Rumble as well. I haven't made a Pirate Rumble tier list in a while, but I haven't really thought that it needed to be updated, but I guess with the Halloween stuff, I probably should update it. Don't know when I'm going to do that, but so a Pirate Rumble tier list hopefully will come soon enough. What do we have next? We have V2 Akainu. I think V2 Akainu is still useful, but I haven't honestly used him that much recently. I still think he is pretty good still, though. He's still pretty good. Corazon is still pretty good. I think V2 Akainu is still a bit better, but this guy still has uses, obviously really good with Shanks Crew, etc. Alright, what else do we have here? I mean, like, this Barto's got a great support. He's got a great support. This guy's still usable sometimes. Like, some of these characters are definitely still used sometimes, but if we're just ranking them side by side, a lot of these characters are just nowhere near as good. I'm going to put Jinbei on the list as well, just because he's got some pretty good utility. He actually works, he synergizes well with a lot of the good, like the better legends in the game. So that's really good, right? This Gear 4 Luffy is still usable as well. Tesoro, I'm going to put him in tier 4, because not only does he have like a really good special that can still be used, but his support effect is just amazing. I use Tesoro so much. Just having Baccarat for having her utility, an orb boost, and getting a chain lock on top of that, it's just ridiculous, man. It's way too good. Zoro is a phenomenal character, really good in Pyre Rumble as well. Like, Zoro is actually surprisingly good. Judge with his expansion is actually insane. His captain effect is very, very good. Synergizes well with a lot of the int characters that are available right now. Has a pretty decent special still. He is his Corazon attack booster. So with expansion, he's probably in this tier. Without it, he's probably in this tier here. He's pretty nice with the expansion. White Bit and Marco, I'm gonna leave him in tier 3 for now. Like previous tier lists, I had them relatively high, but like honestly speaking, I haven't used him in a very, very long time. I know that people that have this guy still will use him, which is fine, but personally speaking, I haven't used him too much. I know he is still relatively useful, especially with the hunger debuff and how common that's going to be moving forward. White Bit and Marco definitely could see a lot more play, just because generating a recovery slot every single turn is really good. Their special ability can have the potential of generating recovery slots too, which enables you to get around the hunger debuff. So I could definitely understand why this character might see more play, but in general, there's just so many other better units you could use as a captain compared to this guy. That's the main reason why I wouldn't put him in a high tier. Corazon, I'm going to put him in this tier as well. I'd say just wherever Rayleigh is, I'm going to put Corazon. Just they have the exact same support effect for different characters. This special ability, great. You know, heal, utility, really good. Captain effect, obviously, is not very good though, but it is what it is. The rest of these are not great. Frankie is still somewhat usable. I guess I'll put Frankie in this tier because there are situations where you actually want to use his captain action to avoid debuffs and stuff. I guess I'll leave it there. Carrot, I do think is still really good. I'm gonna put her in tier 3 for now. You could potentially leave her in tier 2. I think Carrot is still like surprisingly good. Like the only content where Carrot does not perform well is like high difficulty Colosseums, like the more recent ones. Typically, like raid bosses that come out, she'll still be able to clear, and like event islands and stuff. But obviously, with Garp challenges, training forests, high difficulty endgame content, she's not that good for. But in a lot of content in the game, Carrot is like the go-to captain for it, which is still pretty good. Do I want to put her in tier 2? I don't know. She's definitely tier 2 or tier 3. I think if I want to be safe, I leave her in tier 3, but I think she is still pretty good. I'll leave her in tier 2 for now, because I do like using Carrot. She's really, really good. We have Snake Man. OG Snake Man, I'm going to leave in tier 1. I still think OG Snake Man is like a really, really good. Great classes, Rainbow Captain, all boost for multiple turns. He's a powerhouse unit, which is great. Like, there's lots of good things about him. V2 Katakuri, I'm going to leave in tier... He's also a tier 1 or a tier 2. I'll leave him in tier 2 for now. He is a character that doesn't see that much play right now. He's really good for the Garp challenges because normal attacks only basically is non-existent. So for Garp challenges, he's really good. He's really good for like Colosseums and endgame content, but you know, if there's normal attacks only, he gets hindered so much because his whole gimmick is utilizing his special to do as much damage as possible. And if normal attacks only is there, then he's basically useless. He doesn't do anything. His captain effect is okay when you got type advantage, of course, but because of the prevalence of normal attacks only, it actually does hinder this guy quite a lot. So for that reason, I'll leave him in tier 2. I hope that he gets a 6+ sometime this year, to just give him something that can work outside of normal attacks only would be really good. Actually, if they made him his Corazon attack booster, that would be super interesting as well. Let's see. We've got the Cat Dog, which is kind of bad. Not Saber Koala. Barto Cavendish. I think Barto Cavendish is still pretty solid. I'm going to leave him in like a tier 2. I think like, you know, White Bit and Marco and Barto Cavendish are comparative in a lot of ways because their switch effect is really good defensively, you know, giving you lots of recovery stuff. But Barto Cavendish have recovery, and they also give you damage reduction, and they also have an offensive side as well with their switch effect. So I think they have the better switch effect definitely between White Bit and Marco and themselves, but obviously White Bit and Marco with their switch effect have paralysis and special bind removal. But Driven are just like not the best class though. Like Driven are pretty bad. Honestly, you could probably put Barto Cavendish in tier 3. I would probably agree with this. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, just because they boost Driven, like that's actually really, really bad. But the thing is they're actually quite usable, and like you can just inject them into any team and they're going to give you something. They're going to give you something because of the great defensive effects that they have. But yeah, Driven are just really, really terrible right now, unfortunately. Jack, I do like Jack, but of course he's not like a character that's going to help you clear high difficulty content. Boa technically is okay with her captain effect boosting Free Spirit, and Free Spirit are probably like the best class in the game right now, or pretty much close to it. So I guess that's fine. Sabo, I'm not a big fan of this Sabo. He's not that great. Dofi is good in Pirate Rumble. We all know that. But in regular content, he's a driven captain, driven special. Not that great. Sanji Judge, I am a massive fan of this unit. I would honestly, me being a little bit biased, I would like to put them in tier 2 because I love this character and I use them actually quite a lot. But I don't know if they actually deserve to be in this tier, like over the characters like this. Do I think like I would use Sanji and Judge over characters like V2 Akainu, V2 Shanks, Rayleigh? Probably not. They would probably be in this tier, realistically speaking. But I'm going to leave them in tier 2 for now. Because like Rayleigh... Because they still actually have a really good captain effect. That's the problem. Rayleigh has a terrible captain effect. Corazon has a terrible captain effect. Sanji and Judge, they actually have a captain effect that can be used. So I guess I'm going to leave them there. Because captain effect is definitely a little bit higher priority for me. So I think tier 2 is a fair spot for them. Their switch effect is awesome. It can be injected on a lot of teams, even where you're not running powerhouse units, just because their switch effect multiplying your chain is ridiculously good. So I like that. I like that about the unit. So I'll leave them there for now. Cracker is still good. I'm going to leave him in tier 3 though. A lot of people say that he's one of the best subs in the game, and I still somewhat agree to that. But the problem with this character is like, I just haven't used them that much at all. Like, the last time I used Cracker, I can't even think of the last time I used Cracker. Like, probably some Kizuna clash a long time ago. I don't even remember the last time I used this guy. He is good though, you know, color affinity and chain boost and insane orb manipulation, and he's really, really good. But I just don't really have too many situations where I want to use him. His support, though, is quite good. I do use his support a lot more often than I use him as a crewmate on a team. That is for sure. Captain effect is definitely a little weaker as well. So I think leaving Cracker in this tier is honestly quite fair. I think it's very, very fair to leave him in this tier here. We've got the V2 slashes. They can be used, but I'm not a big fan of them. I'm going to leave them. Like, wherever one goes, the other one's going to follow them pretty much. Like, they're just so similar, and they work so well with each other. I'm just going to leave them together in the lowest tier. We have Big Mom, who... I'm not a big fan of Big Mom. I'm not putting her on the tier list. Luffy Law. Okay, Luffy Law... I'm going to put them in tier 1 still. They're still good. I mean, they work well with a lot of characters. They're rainbow captains. They're a Luffy and a Law character. You can have this guy support. You can have this guy support. Lots of really good things there. I'm going to leave them there for now. That's fine. V2 Big Mom, I'm going to leave in tier 3. I would also have like a personal bias to put them in tier 2. But I think tier 3 is probably where they deserve to be. This unit's awesome in 10-star difficulty Garp challenges, by the way. If you're having trouble with the int one, chucking this unit on a team and using her switch effect every single turn to give boosts, her herself will just, like, kill mini-bosses, which is so good. Such a good unit, man. Really, really good unit. Saber Koala. I'm going to put Saber Koala also in tier 1. Free Spirit Cerebral Captain, 2 of the best classes in the game. Hybrids up well with a lot of other captains. They're their Corazon attack booster. They have the ability to remove the beneficial and non-beneficial orb enable, so that's pretty unique. Not too many characters can do that, so just for that alone, I'll leave them there. They're one of the best crewmates you can use. Very good for high difficulty content. There's lots about this character that is like really, really good, but the main problem that I see with this unit is they don't have many good supports. Like, that's actually a really big hindrance. And like, it's annoying because like a lot of the good supports for Koala are like other Sabo units, and you can't even attach it. Like, you could technically use Limited Rare Recruit Bello Betty, but like you'd have to use like other units to get the most out of that. But still, yeah, Sabo Koala are still really solid. Definitely better than a lot of the characters here, for sure. Cat Dog is still pretty solid. Striker and Cerebral definitely is still usable, but not great. I'll admit that. They're not great. This Akainu is okay. Strength is still pretty solid. He's not a bad unit. Got a great support. I'll leave him in the bottom of the tier there. This Nami is still pretty solid too. I'll leave her in tier 3. She's like one of those units that has a really good special and a kind of mid captain effect. And I feel like Corazon should probably go up as well. Corazon probably should go up now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I kind of do like Corazon going up. Yeah, because his captain effect is actually still good and can still hybrid up with a lot of other characters. Yeah, I totally agree with that. But Nami, you know, 2 times orbs and 1.75 color affinity, burn and paralysis removal. Pretty good. She's a Dex captain, but unfortunately Dex are like really bad, so that's a little bit of a downside there. We have Viva Rebecca. I think Viva Rebecca is like a tier 0 style unit, but I'm going to leave them in tier 1 because, as I said, I want to leave tier 0 to be like the best in the game. And I don't think Viva Rebecca is like tier 0. If we're talking like just as a crewmate, yeah, then I think that would be the case. But I have the captain effect of the unit to be a little bit of a higher priority. And for that reason, I wouldn't put them in tier 1 because I think their captain ability is really, really bad. Their captain ability is okay in Kizuna Clash when you know you're going to have type advantage. But personally speaking, I'm not a big fan of using them in captains for like raids, Coliseum, stuff like that. Definitely not the place where you should be using that. But a good unit. One of the best switch effects in the game. I'd say probably is the best switch effect in the game. Great special ability, removing defensive effects and utility for multiple turns, and color affinity for multiple turns. But their captain effect is just really, really bad. Alright, Shirahoshi Mancherry. I'm not the biggest fan of this unit. I'm going to leave her in tier 5. I'm just not the biggest fan of Shirahoshi Mancherry. Regular Shirahoshi I'm not going to put on the list because this one is basically... I mean, technically speaking, this is a better unit if you want to get the rainbow slots. But as an overall unit, Shirahoshi Mancherry is better. Stampede Luffy is really good. I'm a big fan of Stampede Luffy. He's going in tier 1. Utility captain effect, boosting 3 colors. His special is self-centered, which isn't always that really good, but... you can't deny that he's like an amazing captain. Next, we have Douglas Bullet. I'm also putting him in tier 1. I'm really holding off on tier 0, but I already have a couple units in mind that I got like a couple of arguments for tier 0. But Bullet, everyone knows what he does. Super effective against all types. Really, really cool character. Kaido. I'm going to put Kaido into tier 2 or tier 1. I think Kaido's tier 1. I use him a lot for content. He is really, really good. Kaido, even with normal attacks only, still a 4x captain, of course. But, you know, normal attacks only does hinder Kaido a lot, though. You know, you got Bullet, where his special is useless under normal attacks only, but he's still super effective against all types, which is a huge asset to your team. Plus, he boosts 3 different colors, whereas Kaido boosts Striker and Powerhouse, which... you know, I do think Bullet definitely has the advantage when you're both under normal attacks only. Bullet is definitely a better unit. But Kaido is still awesome, man. He just wave clears. His wave clear mechanics are just way too broken. Normal attacks only, as we said, though, is the big problem. We got Viva and Katakuri. I guess Viva and Katakuri is still in, like, tier 5. I mean, he's probably, like, this tier, but, like, I'll just leave him. I don't know. Viva and Katakuri, he hybrids up really well, man. If you guys didn't see, the teams that I was making for versus Whitebeard and the NL challenge, like, one team versus both of them, for my int team, I did actually use Viva and Katakuri 6+. He is still, to this day, very, very solid. I think still severely underrated. I didn't even have him fully expand. I would love to limit break expand this guy so I could use him a lot more. But of course, materials are a thing. So I don't really know when I'll ever get around to doing that. But definitely that is something I want to do sometime in the future. Such a lot of fun to use that guy. Halloween Ace. Halloween Ace is still really good. I'm going to leave him in tier 2 for now. You could definitely make an argument for tier 1. But his classes that he boosts are just so bad. Like, Fighter and Shooter. I mean, Fighter are definitely okay. Fighter are definitely good. But Shooter, man, oh, like, why? Why is he boosting Shooters? I mean, I understand why they're doing it, but why are you making him boost Shooters and then give him nothing to, like, support that class at all? It's just, it's such a big downside to this guy. His support is still one of the best supports in the game. He has a great special being a 2.5 attack boost to those 2 classes that we mentioned. He has bind removal. He has an inbuilt utility captain effect resisting special bind and special reverse. Like, everything looks good on paper, but his teams are never that good because he has to use fighter characters and shooter characters. So that's the main problem with this guy. But everything outside of the classes that he boosts is like a god tier unit, honestly speaking. Honestly, a god tier unit. I just don't like fighter and shooter for a class combination. It's very weird. Next, we have Onami. Onami's still okay. I guess I'll leave her in tier 5. She's just kind of okay. Komurasaki, I'm going to leave her in tier 3. I think she's like super underrated. She's very good, by the way. Don't sleep on Komurasaki, man. She's really good. Chopper's still pretty good too. Chopper is probably a tier 2 unit. You could probably make an argument for tier 1, but for the amount of times that I actually use Chopper, I mean, honestly, nah, I'm gonna leave him in this tier here, tier 3. Like, I think he's probably like Rayleigh, Corazon tier, because he has like a really good utility special. His captain effect, obviously farming cotton candy, is useful, but if we're just talking about like clearing content in general, I think he's probably the same tier as like Corazon and Rayleigh. Like, you just put him in the same tier as them. That probably makes the most sense there. What do we have next? Luffy Zoro. I have not used Luffy Zoro in, like, such a long time. Like, I'm not even kidding. When was the last time I even used this guy? I don't even know. I still think he's, like, a tier 2 unit. He's a free spirit slasher captain. And, yeah, you can hybrid him up really well. But the thing is, like, if you've got the other really good free spirit and slasher captains, you don't need Luffy Zoro. Like, realistically speaking. If you have Roger and Odin, you do not need Luffy Zoro. Pretty much. You don't need them. But they're a Luffy Zoro character, so they have some of the best supports in the game. So that's something. So, that's something to keep in mind. Luffy Zoro is still pretty solid, though. Sober Mask. I think Sober Mask is better than Luffy Zoro. Not a tier 0 unit, but they are definitely better than Luffy and Zoro. One of the best subs in the game just for generating full border slots, attack boost, can do it multiple times per run. His Sailor effect, it just makes him broken, honestly. The fact that you can potentially get up to a 2.5 rainbow attack boost plus a full board of slots, it's quite ridiculous, Plus he's Sanji, so you can have some pretty good support attached to him as well. I love Sober Mask, such a good unit. OG Lucy with his 6+, he's basically just a better version of this one. I'll leave him in this tier. I think that's quite fair to put him in there. You could probably make an argument for him being in here. Would I disagree with that? Probably not. I'm gonna leave him in here though. You could probably make an argument for him being there, but I mean, it's Lucy. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter that much. This Robin's okay. She's pretty good. Nami and Robin, I'll leave in tier 3. You could probably say they're a tier 2 unit. I'm not the biggest fan of Nami Robin. There's just a lot of other characters that can do what they do, but are just a little bit easier to use. I don't like using them as a captain. Their switch effect is pretty annoying, but I can understand like different situations where you could use their switch effect to your advantage. They're okay. I don't know. I just personally can't rank them that high. I'm not the biggest fan of Nami Robin, personally speaking, but they have some pretty good supports too. I'm not the biggest fan of this unit, but I don't know, maybe with the 6+, this unit could be a lot better. If dual units ever get a 6+, we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. We got Pudding. I think Pudding's really good. I think Pudding is probably the same tier as Nami Robin. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, you could probably put her in tier 2. I mean, she's pretty good. When she first came out, she was basically a useless unit that you never really needed to use. But as time's gone on, we've seen that Pudding has become more and more useful in a lot of content. So I definitely can understand why you'd put her in a higher tier, but I think tier 3 is probably the good spot to put her. I think I agree with that. Arlong Crew are pretty bad. Shanks Crew, though. Whew! Shanks Crew. Tier 0. That's our first tier 0 unit. I still think to this day, look, I have said this multiple times. I am not a fan of dual units. But Shanks Crew's different. Shanks Crew built different. He's really good still. Inbuilt special bind removal is broken. Dual unit for his end of turn damage is very good. And it's AoE fixed damage too. AoE wave clear, whatever it is. Then you've got the quicken side beneficial, 4.5 rainbow captain. Switch effect is quite good. Special ability is quite good. There's lots to like here. The only problem with Shanks Crew is they don't have many good supports. The only real good support that I can think of, well, there's a couple, right? There's like the Mark, that came out during the French anniversary, which you got for free. And also Raid Zoro, I guess technically, if you needed color affinity. If you wanted to run a quick style team, you could run like the quick ace support for color affinity on the final stage. But other than that, there's not like too many good supports you can run with Shanks Crew, and that's the only real downside to this unit. Alright, so what is next? We have 6+ Marco. Okay, 6+ Marco is actually not too bad. Full heal, basically, in a lot of teams, and an all boost. I think tier 4 is reasonable for him. His captain effect's actually not too bad either. You could probably put him in tier 3, because his captain effect is actually usable. Yeah, I would agree with that. Quick and side captain is actually not too bad. Next we have Mihawk and Perona. I like Mihawk and Perona. I think they're probably a tier 1 unit. They're a tier 1 or tier 2. I don't know where I'd put them. Damn, this is hard. Because, like... you know what? I'm going to leave them in tier 1 just because they have a conditional boost that can bypass immunity. Because if there's more than one enemy on the enemy side of the field, you can still get your 2x conditional boost. And they are Strength and Psi, which are 2 of the best colors in the game. Strength, Psi, and Int are the 3 best colors in the game. And they are 2 of those 3, right? So that automatically makes them really good. Captain effect is usable. Not the best though, but usable. Special ability is obviously really good. Their switch effect is also awesome, applying negative effects so you can tank damage, you can reduce enemy defense, you can heal from it. Lots of things to like about Mihawk and Perona. Plus you can add a couple of really good supports of Zoros and Kuma and stuff like that. Lots of good stuff there for Mihawk and Perona. V3 Rayleigh, on the other hand, I'm gonna leave him at the bottom of the tier. You can still use him in some content, but realistically he's terrible, so he needs a 6+. 6+ Whitebeard. He's actually pretty good still. Striker and powerhouse captain. Where would I put him though? He's like a tier 2 or a tier 3. I guess I'll leave him in tier 2 for now because he does have a couple of good supports from Ace. He is striker powerhouse, so there's a couple of good powerhouse and striker captains you can still use, but the meta has kind of shifted away from powerhouse a little bit, back over to free spirit. Slashes are still really strong now. Cerebral is still really good. So I think I'll leave him in tier 2 for now, but that could definitely change, so we'll have to wait and see. What do we have next? V3 Corazon. I'm not a big fan of chain boosting captains, but I think that he still deserves tier 3. His special ability is pretty good. It's an orb boost and a color affinity boost to strength dex quick. But yeah, he's a chain boosting captain, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I despise this style of chain boosting captain being 4 times chain, 1.75 attack. Don't like it at all. Never have been. Don't think I ever will be. You got this old school Fuji. I'm not going to put him on the list. We got Snake Man. Okay, moving into super types. Let's have a look at the super types. Snake Man is in the argument for tier 0. We'll get back to tier 0 in a little bit, but we'll put all the characters that I think are tier 0 into tier 0, or like have the chance to be in there, and then we'll kind of determine where I want to rank each of them. But Snake Man definitely is in the discussion of being one of the best characters in the game, for sure. Super type Sabo, on the other hand, not so much. I'm going to leave him in tier 2, though. Strength is a really powerful color in the game right now, and he is still one of those characters that works really well. Works well with Bullet, being super effective against all types. He's a color affinity booster, he's a chain booster, so basically you can make Bullet attack last with a huge chain boost, color affinity boost, super effective against all types, everything going in his way. So the hybrid of these two characters together is like very, very strong, but it's outside of that, like he's just kind of mid, in my opinion. He's just not that great. Let's have a look at Katakuri. I think Katakuri is still a tier 1 character, and the main reason why I say that is because he can still give you a conditional boost that can go through immunity buffs, and any character that can give you that type of effect is insanely broken. The fact that you can have him be his Corazon attack booster and self-proccing conditional booster that can go through immunity is very, very strong. Plus, you can have a 5 times captain. The new Capone ship that's come out is a 1.7 boosting ship if you're below 30%. Works very well with Katakuri. There's lots of things to like about this unit. Obviously, not a lot of people like to use him because of the way that he is structured. I understand that, but he's still one of the best characters in the game, in my opinion. Just a little bit difficult to use. Blackbeard, I think, is in the same tier as Katakuri. I wouldn't say he's as difficult to use as Katakuri, but he's a very slow captain. His speed is definitely lower, but very good as a crewmate on a lot of teams. Like, you can actually use him quite versatile on a lot of other teams, like Rainbow Captain teams. You can just use him for the huge boosts and use him himself to just kill any side enemy that you want, which is very, very insane. He's a Blackbeard unit, so there's only like a couple of good supports you can put on him as well. So yeah, I'll leave Blackbeard in the same tier as Katakuri. Next, we have the Dex super type. So we got Kid. I think Kid is a tier 2 unit. He is his Corazon attack booster. He can generate matching slots, but Dex is the worst color in the game. He doesn't have many good supports either. He doesn't have any tankiness with his captain effect. Lots of things about himself that I don't like. And, you know, outside of him being the captain and him being like a Dex captain, he's a Dex special with his attack boost. There's just not a lot to go with Kid. If Dex was like, had all the bells and the whistles and was one of the best colors in the game, then yeah, for sure, I'd have him in probably tier 0. He'd be like where Snake Man is, but it's just the way that the cookie crumbles, man. The strength typing is way too good compared to the Dex typing. So I'm going to leave Kid in tier 2. And we got Hawkins, which is a character I'm going to leave in the tier below that. I'm going to leave Hawkins in tier 3. It's a character that I personally don't use that much. Yes, you can still use him to cheese content. He's very slow. He doesn't have a lot of power. He likes to chip away at content. So for those criteria for me that you guys saw at the start of the video, Hawkins doesn't fit. Like, those stally captains don't fit my criteria that much. So that's why I'm going to leave him in tier 3 for now. Next, we got 6 plus Garp, who's really good. I'm a big fan of this unit. I'm going to leave him in tier 3, though. He's just not a type of unit that you're going to use too much. His captain effect is now a Rainbow Captain, I believe. He's got a great support. He's got a pretty good special. You could probably make the case he's in tier 2, but I don't think he's as good as these characters in this tier here. But still, a very solid unit that definitely sees a lot of play, especially recently with his support effect. We got Smoker. I'm going to leave Smoker also in tier 3. I don't like this unit at all. Again, this is another unit that was structured so poorly. Like, I'm not a fan of his special ability. His captain ability is kind of annoying to use. And he doesn't have, like, that many amazing supports. So I'm just going to leave him in tier 3. Sugar is really good, though. I'm going to leave Sugar in tier 1. Sugar has a lot of good things going for her. A lot of people might even say that Sugar's tier 0. Though, as time has progressed, I have noticed more and more that Sugar is just a super annoying unit to use. Yeah, she can clear lots of really high difficulty content, but just from personal experience in using this character, I'm not the greatest fan of this unit. But, like, if I have to run a quick team against strength content, then, you know, Sugar is going to be one of the first characters that I'm going to think of about using, for sure. But outside of that, I don't really know when I'll be using Sugar too much. But she's a Rainbow Captain at the end of the day, so you don't have to use her specifically for, you know, strength content. But she's a really, really good unit, though. Really, really good. Next, we have 6 plus Rayleigh. I'm going to put him in tier 3. With his Limit Break expansion, his captain fate's a lot better, but still not like a god tier unit for sure. Alright, now we got Wano Law. Wano Law, I am going to leave in tier 0 for now, but we'll have the discussion a little bit later on. He is still very, very good. Alright, V3 Boa Hancock. V3 Boa is a tier 1 unit, no doubt. She probably is in contention for being tier 0. She is one of the best characters in tier 1 itself, for sure. No doubt in my mind. We got 6+ Jinbei. Jinbei 6+ is like around a tier 3 unit as well. His cruiser and attack booster, lots of matching slots. Same color boosters as this guy. He's good. He's pretty solid. Just Stampede Luffy's just better in every way. Alright, Luffy Sanji. Alright, Luffy Sanji, also tier 0. We'll talk about that soon. Alright, next we have Germa 66. I think Germa 66 is also a tier 1 legend. Very, very good. It's just the Psi typing is way too good in the game right now. And he is a Psi super type legend, of course. Super effective against all types when his special is launched as a crewmate. Very, very, very good. Lots of things to like about Germa 66. We've got the Sweet Commanders. I like the Sweet Commanders actually, but the thing about them is they have like a really glaring issue, and that's their super type special. It's really bad. And their super type special not providing any offensive or defensive capabilities in like boss fights is kind of annoying. Whereas you got like Boa giving you an attack boost and full border slots. You got this guy locking your slots for multiple turns and giving you a chain multiplier boost. This guy's an attack booster with his super type special. Like, these guys just give you -1 cooldown. It's not that useful. If it was like an orb manipulation, it would be actually insane. Like, if this super type special was an orb manipulation, this guy would be in tier 1 easily. But for that reason, no. He's tier 2. He's going to be staying in tier 2, unfortunately for me. Next, we have 6+ Capone, who is still quite bad. I'm going to leave him in tier 4, though, because Big Father is kind of good. Alright, we got the Halloween Legends. We got Mihawk. I'm going to leave Mihawk in tier 1. The int coloring is one of the best colors in the game, and I've been using him a lot recently since I pulled him, and he is exceptional. Very, very underrated legend. I love Halloween Mihawk. We've got Halloween Law as well. He's going to go in the same tier as him. I don't think he's like tier 0 because he is like mono int, and also the fact that he you have to use him in a very certain way, which can be quite detrimental to your team. You can't really get much store with this guy because of the way that he works as well. So there's lots of bad things about him, but I think that the good of Law heavily outweighs the bad. But because there are a lot of bad things about him, I'm not going to put him in tier 0, but he's like exceptional. If you use him correctly, he's like one of the best legends in the game for sure. Then we've got Shanks. Now Shanks is a new addition to this tier list here. I'm going to put him in tier 2. I am not a big fan of this Shanks unit. Honestly, with his special, if they changed it so that he boosts the color affinity of Slasher, Cerebral, and Int characters, he probably would be in tier 1. But the fact that he only boosts the color affinity of Cerebral and Slasher is super annoying. Like, why is that a thing? And his super type special is very difficult to proc as well. Very, very difficult to proc. So for all of those reasons, he is a tier 2 character, but if you are able to build a team that is able to proc all of the effects, and you can build a team that is mainly Slasher Cerebral, and it does clear a lot of content, then Shanks is going to be an amazing asset. But outside of that, it's very difficult to build a team with him, so I don't really think he's like a god tier unit. But still, even if like a couple of your units on your team are Slasher and Cerebral, like this Shanks can definitely still do some really good things for you. Alright. We'll leave Roger and Odin for a little bit, but we've got Kung Fu Luffy, I'll leave him in the bottom tier, and V3 Akainu, I'm going to leave V3 Akainu into tier 2 or tier 1. He's probably a tier 1 character. Yeah, V3 Akainu was probably tier 1. Yeah, I mean, Strength Dex, Quick Captain, Barrier Removal, Attack Booster, Conditional Boost. He's really good still. I don't use him that much, but he is still really, really good. Don't discount this guy. He's very strong. But then we have Odin and Roger, right? We've got Odin. Let's put Odin in tier 1 because that's exactly where he belongs. And then we have Roger, who is the character that I think is easily in tier 0. So that's all of the characters that I think deserve to be on the tier list. You could probably make some arguments for some of these characters here, but this is the majority of characters or Sugo Fest exclusives that will actually see play in some fashion here. But now let's break down tier 0. Now, these are the 5 best captains in the game, or best characters in the game, honestly speaking. These characters are all really good. Now, which one do I think is the #1 character in the game? I still think Roger is the #1 character in the game. Just everything about him. He is basically Luffy Sanji, but on crack. He is like just better. The only thing that Luffy and Sanji have over Roger is the fact that, #1, they have better supports, and #2, they are more, you know, defensively and recovery based, because in the Sanji form and in their dual form, they actually heal per turn, which is quite good. But outside of that, like, Roger is better in every facet. So You know, Luffy and Sanji are basically a nerfed version of Roger, so I'd probably put them at number 2. Number 3, I would probably leave it as Shanks Crew. Number 4, I would probably put Wano Law, because I just prefer Wano Law over Snake Man because of his recovery and damage reduction mechanics. And then Snake Man is the 5th best, I think, is probably what I would put there. But then, like, just because I have a certain character in, like, in tier 1 rather than, like, tier 0, for example, like, it doesn't mean that that character is bad. All of these characters in, like, tier 0 to, like, tier 4 are, like, amazing units that you want to have. Even some of the ones in tier 5 are characters you really, really want to have. But I'm just saying that tier 0, I think these are the 5 best units in the game, just overall, in general, starting from March 2021. Obviously, we don't know what's coming throughout this month yet. We'll have to wait and see, but this is my opinion on the best characters in the game. And hopefully you guys learned something here. If you guys are starting your account, you know, playing Treasure Cruise, these top 5 characters are the ones you want to aim for in your account. I don't know which characters are boosted on what part. We know that Roger's going to be on Luffy Sanji's part. Law, I think, might also be on Luffy Sanji's part as well. We will have to wait and see. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. And if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.